ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललितां श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरसे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यं जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। पाञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So before we approach into that particular verse of 11th verse, I would like to recapitulate something what we discussed in the last two sessions. So, yeah, let me share. Are you able to see? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, in the last session, we were discussing about the diplomacy played by Duryodhana on the side of the Kauravas. Unfortunately, a person who is on the dharma will also do adharma with the people with whom he is united to do a teamwork. One who is not faithful in the eyes of Krishna, he cannot be faithful to anyone else. So we can see that's how the Duryodhana's introduction has been done in Bhagavad Gita. Duryodhana is not a person to be kept trusted on, even by the people on the Kaurava side, even on the various on the Kaurava side. And we can see the way he deployed his diplomacy was very worth appreciable. However, from material perspective, it maybe looks very good. From spiritual perspective, he's playing with the emotions of the people involved. So that's how we see here from the verse number 3 to 10. In fact, verse from 3 to 10 to 11 like that. All these verses we see the Duryodhana's diplomatic behavior. In the verse 3, he says, Pashaitam Pandaputranam Achara Mahatim Chamum Vyudam Drupada Putrena Tava Shishyena Dhimata. So here is pointing out the faults of Dronacharya. When Sanjaya was quite understood the heart of Dhritarashtra, who was quite fearful. He was fearful, Dhritarashtra was fearful on the battlefield of Kurukshetra because the Kurukshetra is Dharmakshetra. And being a Dharmakshetra, it's obvious that the influence of Dharma over the minds of Kauravas will be more. And in that, the Kauravas may disregard this option of performing a war. Why to kill for the sake of holding a position. Dharma can influence anyone's mind. The place can influence the mind. So fearing that, he actually, Dhritarashtra doesn't want it to happen. In fact, he wanted the fight should continue, and he wanted the Pandavas should be destroyed, and he wanted no companion or no enemy should be on the opposite side of his own children, Kauravas. That was his whole plan. And because of his ill advice, Duryodhana continued to ponder upon plans of destroying Pandavas from the childhood. And that's how Dhritarashtra is actually responsible. Dhritarashtra is the lord of the land, but he became irresponsible, or you can say he became cause of the destruction which is going to be manifested on this battlefield. So Sanjaya, understanding the fear of in the mind of Dhritarashtra, he said, don't worry, Dhritarashtra, because your son is very eager to fight. And you can see what he did. Your son went to Drona, the commander-in-chief of the Kaurava army. The Kaurava army, the commander-in-chief was Dronacharya. So Dronacharya was being approached by Duryodhana. And Duryodhana is approaching Drona in a respectful way. But however, his intention is to find faults with Dronacharya. So this is one of the deplorative ways. Sometimes you may not have the respect for the people in your team or the seniors within your team. It may happen. One person may not have that respect, but however, he maintains a particular attitude and etiquette. That is one way of diplomacy. And Duryodhana is very expert in it. And Duryodhana says, Paschaitam Pandaputranam Acharam Mahatum Chamum. Paschaitam, behold, Pandaputranam. Behold the wonderful arrangement which is done on the side of the Pandaputras. Pandaputra matlab who's Pandavas. And the Pandavas are especially mentioned Pandaputra because Dronacharya is very much affectionate to Pandavas. And Duryodhana was insistent in telling Drona that you cannot show your affection now on this battlefield. Just wait. Hare Krishna. So he did not want Drona to become sentimental. Already you are sentimental and affectionate towards Pandavas. And we see that you also did a big mistakes. What you did, Vyudam Drupada Pitrena. Vyudam, the way of arrangement which was done on the Pandavas side. See, when during wars, Srila Prabhupada has condemned the World War I and World War II because the motivation for which they assembled in that world wars was for self-centered sense gratification, or a nation-centered sense gratification. It is not for the welfare of the whole world. Both world wars have happened because of this reason. And in fact, Srila Prabhupada, during his time of preaching in America, there was a Vietnam War was happening, which was also centered on an egoistic platform among two nations. And they were purposefully forcing the students to be a part of that war and fight for the nation, which actually students were not willing. They did not want to die for someone's personal egoistic issues. And they raised they revolted against the government that time in America. And that's how the hippie culture has come. So, but here you see that these two armies, the Pandavas and Kauravas, assembled for a very higher cause. Pandavas have assembled there for the purpose of establishing Dharma all over the world. So, and when they approached there, they had their, certainly some people had their own personal motivations. That's what we see in the Kauravas army. But however, being a part of the big plan, which was to establish Dharma, both sides are actually came there for higher purpose. And all of them are confident that in this war, whether we be successful or failure, we will attain a higher happiness after the death while dying in this field, in the fighting. And each one of them are not like fearful, no, war-fearing persons. Rather, each one of them who approach there, they're enthusiastic about fighting. Fighting is there in their blood. Hare Krishna, please mute yourself. Okay. Fighting is there in their blood. It's in their blood. So, and then Duryodhana is pointing out the Drona's fault, that your own student, intelligent disciple, who is that Drishtadumna, the son of Drupada Putra, he himself arranged the army on the Pandavas side very expertly. See this. And knowing well that the Drupada's son will be the cause of your death, you still taught him all the techniques of the fights. And now your own student is making plan to kill you. See how much disrespectful the Drishtadumna and the Panduputras are on you. This is another way of inciting anger in the mind of Drona by these two statements, which Duryodhana has pointed out here. He said, see, Panduputra, you are affectionate to them, but they are not affectionate to you. They appointed Drishtadumna, who is especially born for killing you. And they made him the commander-in-chief of the Pandavas army. And they made a so expert arrangement to kill you. So basically, Duryodhana is trying to incite anger in Drona and also find fault with him. That just like you did a mistake of being lenient in teaching Drishtadumna, you can't be lenient right now in fighting with the Pandavas out of your affection. You have to be full with enthusiasm. Understand, they are not respectful towards you. So this is the diplomacy. Diplomacy means what? You try to find out what is wrong with other people. And that wrong you connect with the person with whom you are morality. He started finding faults of Drona at the same time, inciting anger in the Drona's mind towards the Pandavas. That's how here Duryodhana appointed his trick. This is the second trick he applied. The first trick was he was respectfully approaching, even though in his mind he was having a plan of controlling the mind of Drona. Duryodhana has appointed commander-in-chief, he has Karna with him, he has Bhishma with him, but Duryodhana always believed in his own plans. There's no teamwork there. He did not believe or respected the position of other people internally. Externally, certainly he maintained etiquette, but just maintaining external etiquette without internal respectful attitude towards the individuals in a team will not last. That type of behavior will not last for a long time. We are not expert like Duryodhana. That is the first thing we see here. And Duryodhana later on describes the various army or the various on the Pandavas side. And then he mentions Atra Shura Maheshwasha Bhimajuna Samayudhi Yudhano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharataha. As I mentioned earlier, in the last session, we were discussing about this. So he is especially mentioning the Maharathi. Who are the Maharathis he is explaining? Yudhana, Virata, and Drupada. Again, he cited the name Drupada to incite the anger in the mind of Drona. Because Dronacharya and Drupada are rivalry. Again, even Drupada himself is standing on the Pandavas side to kill you. Now it's chance for you to destroy Drupada. They are Maharathas. And their Maharathis is especially mentioning Maharathi because Maharathi means one who has ability to fight against 10,000 chariots at a time. That is Maharathi. And here is comparing those strength with Bhima and Arjuna because He especially, Duryodhana knew the strengths of Bhima and Arjuna. Earlier he has seen during the incognito in the 13th year of exile, when Duryodhana was captured by the Gandharvas, it is Arjuna who came and helped. And Bhima himself knows very much closely. And he mentions, in fact, Bhima's name first. You see here, he mentions Bhima. He mentions Bhima in the first place. Why Bhima? Because his rivalry toward Bhima is very much than others. Certainly, he knows the strength of Arjuna, but he was really fearful. In fact, Duryodhana's fear is manifesting here. He's really fearful. Duryodhana was really fearful about Bhima. Why Bhima? Because Bhima has made 3 vows. Before this battlefield, especially on the day when Draupadi was being disrobed in the Kuru Sabha, Bhima made 3 vows. The first vow he said is that he will be personally killing all the Dhritarashtra sons, all the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. And that's how we see in the Kurukshetra war, when the opportunity came for Arjuna or the other Pandavas to kill any Kauravas, they did not do. They left that option to kill Bhima. And Bhima is to roar like anything. And in fact, he said that Bhima was so angry. 13 years he waited. Can you imagine? Bhima kept his anger controlled for 13 years. And now he's manifesting on the warfield. What to speak of the soldiers on the side of Kauravas? Even the soldiers on the side of Pandavas is to fear the way the Bhima is acting in the warfield. So the second vow which Bhima took on the in that Kuru Sabha was that he would like to break the thigh of Duryodhana. When Draupadi was being insulted, it is Duryodhana who opened his dhoti and showed his own thigh to Draupadi and indicated her, you come and sit here because you are now only meant for my enjoyment. So in that way, he insulted Draupadi. Therefore, he took another vow, that is to break the thigh of Duryodhana and make him incapable, impotent forever in his life. And the third vow which Bhima took was he wanted to rip apart the heart of the chest of Dushasana and take out the heart. Can you imagine? It is what, literally he meant like that. And he announced it in the Kuru Sabha that time. Literally take out the heart and drink that blood. And with that same blood, he wanted to wash the hair of Draupadi. And in fact, Draupadi also took a vow that I will not tie my hair until unless it is bathed. My hair is not, until unless it is bathed in the blood of Dushasana. Because Dushasana has disrespectfully dragged Draupadi into the Kuru Sabha. And he was the one who was disrobing her. So these 3 vows, in fact, you see Bhima accomplished in the Kurukshetra war in those 18 days. Therefore, here you see Duryodhana is especially telling Dronacharya, there are very expert Maharathas on the other side. Don't take Bhima and Arjuna also casually, out of affection. They are intended to kill you. And also he mentioned about Drupada, whom he is pardoned. That's how he is very, Duryodhana is pointing out the specific warriors on the Pandavas side. In fact, Duryodhana mentions around 17 names on the, here he mentions the Yudhana, Viratascha, Drupatascha, and then in 15, Dishtaketuschekitana, Kasirajascha, Viryavan, Purujit, Kunti, Bojascha, Shaibascha, Narapungava, Dishtaketu, Chekitana, Kashiraja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja, or Shaibya. The other 6 names he mentioned. So 3 plus 6, 9. 9 names he has mentioned here. And you see, everyone is titled with certain thing here. That one important point you have to note down here. Dishtakesu Chekitana Kashi Rajascha Viryavan is a Viryavan. Okay. Purijit Kunti Bojascha Shaibascha Narapungavaha. Among the Naras, they are very expert. Viryavan Manta, he was actually he won the battles. Viryavan. And earlier, in the earlier verses, it was Maharatha. Drupadascha Maharatha. And now, Acharya, some of the Acharyas explain Maharatha, Adhiratha, and Ratha. So, Acharyas explain Baladev Vidyabhushan that Maharatha is the one who fights against 10,000 chariots, and Adhiratha is the one who fights against more than 60,000 chariots. So, basically, Arjuna comes in Adhiratha category. Bhishma comes in Adhiratha category. And in fact, when Duryodhana is mentioning the names of different warriors, he specifically doesn't mention specifically. Just to compare, he gives the names of Bhima and Arjuna, but he doesn't tell the names of Pandavas because Pandavas are more powerful. That is what Acharyas say. See, somebody hero के नाम mention करने का जरूरी नहीं है. वो दिख जा रहा है. But hero के साथ जो खड़े हैं उनके बारे में बता रहे हैं. तो पांडवास की नाम नहीं लेते हैं दुर्योधना. Just to compare, he may take the names, but Yudhishthira and our Arjuna, they are like Athirathas. They can fight at the same time more than 60,000 chariots at a time. And Bhima, according to Acharya, they explain that he is like Ardharatha. Ardha matlab, he is not competent to fight on with one chariot, but he is very expert. In the art of club, in the fighting with the club. And he is called as Brikodaraha, very expert in performing very Herculean activities. And in fact, for him, the chariot is not required. For him, even in front, if elephants come now, he will hold the trunk of an elephant and circle it and throw it on the other side. That is the power which Bhima had. Therefore, Bhima's strength is not compared in perspective of chariots. However, Bhima is expert in the art of even bow and arrow. He was expert, but however, his main expertise is with the club. So here he is comparing different strengths which are on the other side. See, basically what is telling Dronacharya, my dear Drona, don't be affectionate. At the same time, I would like to make you understand that these are the powerful people on the other side. If you're a little bit lenient, we are destroyed. We are doomed. So repeatedly he is trying to instigate the anger in the mind of Drona. Like that, Drona continues, Duryodhana continues, names more warriors. And he names the others' names. Yuddhamanascha Vikranta, Uttamaujascha Viryavan, Shaubhadro Dropadeyascha Sarva Eva Maharatha. All these are Maharathas. As I mentioned, Maharatha means one who can fight against 10,000 chariots. With that, Yudhamanu. And then Uttamaujas. Yudhamanu is told as Vikranta. Is Vikranta. And Uttamaujas is called as Viryavan. And Shaubhadra is Abhimanyu, the Subhadra's son. It is Abhimanyu. And Draupadeya, the 5 sons of Draupadi. Cha, Sarva Eva. Cha, there are some more people are there. Who are there? There is Gatotkacha. You hear in the Kurukshetra, the Gatotkacha comes to fight. Bhima's son. So, like that, he mentions earlier 9 warriors, and here Yuddhamana 10, Uttamaujas 11, Shaubhadra 12, Draupadi's sons, 5 sons, 12, 5, 17. Like that, he mentions the 17 names here. And there is another personality, that is Gatotkacha. So he specifically mentioned the names with their titles. Maharatha, Vikranta, Viryavan. Like that, Narapungavaha. Like that, he used the titles. So one of the Acharyas explained, see, this is the indication that those who are on the side of Pandavas or those who are on the side of Dharma, they have certain qualities. Their names are there, but more importantly, they have certain qualities. They are characterized with this particular thing. See, it's very important in our life. We are known for certain qualities. We should be known like that. It is not a selfish, egoistic desire, but it's a something which your personality is. You have to cultivate. You are known for certain good qualities. Expertise. That expertise should be in the line of service to God, service to Krishna. He should not be available. Okay, he is a very expert drinker, or a smoker. These are not good qualities. Yes, he is an expert manager. He manages the yatras very nicely. Prabhu is an expert fund collector. He collects fund very nicely, like our Murari Gopal. Like that, you should have certain qualities which are in line with the dharma. That is very important. And that's what you see. Saraswati Devi, is what one of the acharyas explained. The Saraswati Devi is sitting in that Kurukshetra war field on the tongue of Duryodhana and pointing out such important words in the verses. So, can you imagine Duryodhana is actually glorifying in one way without his own knowledge? Without his own knowledge, he is glorifying certain names here of the warriors who are on this Pandavas side. This is a very special aspect which we see here. Shall we go to the next verses? Duryodhana, and after explaining all these, then somebody may get the doubt. Or Duryodhana, Drona may feel, अरे इतना point out कर रहे, इतना strength दूसरे की तरफ बता रहे हैं. And by this, Drona will start feeling in his mind what we feel. Drona will start feeling that, अरे Duryodhan इतना डराव क्यों तुम? डर गए क्या तू? So in order to conceal his fear in front of Dronacharya, Duryodhana covered up. He covered up. He felt, if I mention too much strength on the other side, Drona may feel that I am fearful. So let me cover my fear by citing the warriors who are on my side. Asmakam tu vishishteye ta nibodhajottamaha nayaka mama sainyasya samnyardam tan brevimite. Asmakam tu vishishyeta. There are people, oh Drona, you should also understand. You are commander-in-chief. You should know the strength of the warriors on our side. And I will make you explain. I will explain to you. You must understand it. See, he approached very respectfully, but in his words, you don't see that respect. You don't see that respect. See, this is a very crucial thing. Okay? It's not about external etiquettes only. We should have an internal respectful attitude toward other Vaishnavas, other people, other team members with whom we are serving. If you don't have that, naturally it will get manifested. Your disrespectful nature gets manifested out in your behavior, in your talk, in your thoughts. It gets manifested, and that's what we see here. Duryodhana is doing, and Duryodhana describing his warriors. Bhavan Bhismascha Karnascha Kripascha Samitim Jaya Ashwadham Vikarnascha Saumadascha Taivacha. So he is explaining Bhavan Bhismascha. Bhavan matlab yourself. So till now he has spoken very taunting, taunting. Till now he has spoken the taunting words to Drona. And he felt that Drona may be felt discouraged. So while explaining the list of powerful warriors on Kaurava's side, Duryodhana first mentions the name of Drona himself. Because he's in a confusion. Bhishma is also there. He's also hearing what I'm saying. And there is Karna and other people also there. They're also hearing. So they don't mind speaking the name of a Brahmana first. So they're Kshatriyas will naturally have a respect for a Brahmana. So therefore, you see Duryodhana first thinks about Bhavan. That is, who is Bhavan? Bhavan means Dronacharya. And after mentioning the name of Dronacharya, then he mentioned the name of Bhishma. So he has to be very calculative. Diplomacy means you have to be very calculative at all times. What you speak, what you think, how you respond, how you talk to other people, how you convince a person. So instead of maintaining a relationships, here Bhishma is always thinking of how to secure his own position and try to keep people spirited to die for him. That is what he is doing actually, Duryodhana. So Duryodhana speaks about the name of Drona first. And then he says Bhishmascha. Immediately take the name of Bhishma. Bhishma is the Pitamaha, is the great grandfather, is the grandfather. On whose strength actually Duryodhana is convinced that this war will happen. In fact, Duryodhana was feeling strongly that अभी ना opportunity मिला पांडवों को हारने के लिए, पांडवों के साथ युद्ध करने का, ये मौका छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए. कोई भी हक के जाके हम इनको मारेंगे, और मारने में मदद करने वाले एक ही व्यक्ति हो भीष्म. सिर्फ भीष्म की वजह से ही अर्जुन की हत्या हो सकता है. They are very clear with it. And Arjuna, you just destroy Arjuna, sufficient. Whole Pandavas can be under control. Whole Pandava army can come under control. But for defeating Arjuna, is Athirathi, you need another Athirathi. So Adhirathi is the one who can fight against 60,000 chariots at a time. So Arjuna was like that and Bhishma was like that. So therefore he takes the name Bhishma in the second. And then he speaks about Karna. See, Karna, problem with the Karna is he's a very expert warrior. However, he felt, I will fight and I will kill and all credits will go to Drona and Bhishma. So, मैं काम करूंगा और कोई क्रेडिट लेके जाएंगे. So Karna always used to express his dissatisfaction in front of Duryodhana. Duryodhana knew this. Therefore, in order to inspire Karna, keep him in the list also, he's the third rank he gave to Karna. He said, Karna, you're also there, very important for me. After Drona and Bhishma, you are there. And Karna literally actually mentioned before the war field. Till the time Bhishma is on the battlefield, I will not fight. After he dies, then I will fight. Because मैं कुछ कर रहा हूँ, उसका क्रेडिट मेरे को मिलना है, दूसरों को कैसे मिल सकता है? That was the mentality of Karna. And then he speaks about Kripa. Who is Kripacharya? He is a relative of Dronacharya. Dronacharya's wife, his brother, his brother-in-law. And just Samittam Jaya Ashwadhama. And he speaks about Ashwadhama. Who is Ashwadhama? He is the son of Drona. You see, that's how Duryodhana, in order to encourage Dronacharya very much, he spoke his brother-in-law's name and his son's name after Karna. And he mentioned these are very important Rathis. And you see, there's no title here. Like you see Maharathi, like these titles are not mentioned here for anyone specifically. Vikarnasya. And he speaks the name of his younger brother Vikarna. And why he takes the name of Vikarna? So Acharyas, one of the Acharya explains that, Krishna Chakravarti explains that Vikarna is the only Kaurava in the all of 100 sons of Dhritarashtra who opposed disrobing of Draupadi. Therefore, when Bhima was killing all the Kaurava sons, that time he literally was giving a very painful death. He's given a painful death to all the Kauravas. But for Vikarna case, he did very peacefully. He gave very painful death to all the Kauravas. Vikarna case, because Vikarna is the only one who opposed. He just at least made a statement. But he did not fight for it. See, when adharma is going on, you cannot be silent. Bhishma was silent. And Drona was silent. And therefore, Krishna made a plan in which all these people who cited adharma in the Kuru Sabha during the time of Draupadi's disrobing, they all were destroyed, irrespective of their great position. Bhishma's case is quite different. Bhishma cannot be calculated in terms of Drona and others, because Bhishma is a devotee of Lord Krishna. He's a pure devotee. He's one of the Mahajanas. Being a Mahajana, Bhishma uh, willingly he took the side opposing to Krishna in order to teach that lesson. Even though how much expert you may be, if you are siding adharma, you are silent to the adharma which is happening, then you will be destroyed. And Bhishma's life shows that. And Bhishma willingly took that role. You cannot be disrespectful. We can't be offensive towards Bhishma in this way. So we see here Ashwadhama name is mentioned, is the son of Drona. So in this way, Drona is being encouraged. मेरा लड़का का नाम लिया है और his brother-in-laws का नाम लिया है, साला का नाम लिया है. So in this way, he felt very much encouraged, Bhishma, Dronacharya. And Vikarna say mentions because Vikarna was one who opposed, and Duryodhana feared that Vikarna may leave the Kaurava army and join the Pandava army. And he did not want that to happen. Therefore, in order to encourage that you are also important warrior on our side, he mentioned the name Vikarnasya. And then he mentioned Saumadatta. Like that, Duryodhana was very expert in diplomatic behavior, thoughts and thoughts. And then he mentions the 9th verse, which is very, very indicative verse. In fact, Acharya speak on this aspect. How the Saraswati Devi is sitting on the tongue of Duryodhana, is actually making him to speak the prophecy about the war. He's speaking those words which are actually going in the will of the Krishna. He says, Anyecha bhavashura madharde tektva jivitaha nana shastra pradharana sarve yuddha visharadaha. He says, Anyecha bhavasura, Anyecha, in that Bhava Sura, he mentions others' names like Jayadratha. He doesn't mention specifically here. He just, and none of them have any titles added to it. Okay. Bhavashura. Who are the Bhavashura? Who are the expert warriors? Who are the Shailya? Or rather Shailya. And we see that Jayadratha. They all Madardhe Takta Jivitaha. They are ready to give up their life for me. Takta Jivitaha Madardhe. मेरे लिए वो लोग प्राण छोड़ने के लिए तैयार है. ये उनका कहना है. किनका कहना है? दुर्योधन का. But actually, literally meaning of this word, Madhyarde Takta Jivitaha, matlab they already gave up their lives for my sake. Basically, Saraswati spoke this term. Basically, what it meant, they already gave up their lives. That means Krishna's will is already fulfilled. In fact, Krishna says to Arjuna, you just become an instrument. Bhava, just you became a nimitta matra. You just become an instrument. Everyone who assembled in this war field on the Dharma side are already killed. I already destroyed them. Now you be an instrument in manifesting that aspect. And that's what we see. What Duryodhana is telling is true. They already gave up their lives. Madhyarde tekta jivitaha. And nana shastra praharanaha sarve yuddha visharadaha. So basically, by stating this statement, Duryodhana is telling Drona, my dear Dronacharya, even after all this encouragement, if you're still not fighting to your fullest heart because of your sentimental attachment to Pandavas, don't worry. I have some other warriors who are ready to give up their lives for me. And they are also expert in the Shastra Praharana. They're also expert in using the different weapons, not only you, my dear Drona. And they are Yuddha Visharadaha. They are also expert and attained victory in many war fields. If you are not willing, fine. I have more people with me. In this way, again he taunted the heart of Drona. So in this way, you see, Duryodhana's diplomacy continues. And then he mentioned the 10th verse. Aparyaptam tadasmakam alam bhishmabhirakshitam paryaptam tva idam etesham balam bhimabhirakshitam. It's a very, very important. Till now, I'm just recapitulating what we discussed in the last session. I hope you will be able to better appreciate and understand these verses more powerfully. Aparyaptam and Paryaptam. He speaks comparing both the armies, Pandavas and Kauravas. Till now, he is actually speaking Drona. And Bhishma may feel is sided. Duryodhana is feeling that Bhishma may feel sided. He is not valued in the meeting. Sometimes happens, you come for a meeting and you come, but you are not valued. You're not given attention. You're not given any space to speak out, or not even recognized for your achievements. Like that, Duryodhana felt that Bhishma may not be valued. So therefore he says, Aparyaptam tadasmakam balam Bhishma virakshitam. My army is immeasurable. Why my army warriors are immeasurable? My strength is immeasurable. My Kauravas army is immeasurable because of the protection by Bhishma. By this statement, basically is encouraging Bhishma. And then it says, Paryaptam etesham balam bhima virakshitam. But the army which was being controlled, or you can say the army which is strengthened by the Bhima on the other side. Bhima is a Ardharatha. See, in front of Bhishma, who is Adhirathi, Bhima is Ardharatha. He can't even handle one chariot. And under his protection, such Pandava army is there. So Bhishma felt very much encouraged. He felt, yes, ये मेरा जो पोता है, बहुत कुछ मेरे को encourage करने के लिए कह रहे हैं. Bhishma, Duryodhana is encouraging by such words Bhishma. However, Acharyas explain another one. Aparyapta means insufficient, not immeasurable. Aparyapta basically meant immeasurable, but Acharya says the another meaning. Actually, Ramanujacharya said this. Ramanujacharya said that aparyapta means पर्याप्त नहीं है, उतना सफिशिएंट नहीं है. ये जो भीष्म के संरक्षण में जो आर्मी बैठा है वो उतना सफिशिएंट नहीं है द्रोणा. बेसिकली दिस इज मेंशनिंग दिस टू एड्रेसिंग टू द्रोणा. देयरफॉर यू कांट बी नाउ लीनिएंट. भीष्म बूढ़े हैं, उनकी रक्षा में जो हमारा जो सैनिक है, आर्मी है, वो इनसफिशिएंट है. बट भीमा on the other side, the Bhima which is there, Bhima is a young man, and the Paryatam, the army which is arranged under his protection, that is sufficient. So now you can't be lenient towards Bhima. You have to fight, and we need your support. In this way, by one word, Aparyaptam, basically Duryodhana was encouraging both Bhishma and Drona, because both understood this verse in a different way. Bhishma understood what he understood. Under my protection, the whole army is immeasurable. And Bhima is a small guy. मेरा ही grandchild है, छोटा है. जितना खाने में उत्साह रखते हैं उतने युद्ध में नहीं रखेगा. तो वो उनका जो कंट्रोल में है वो उतना सफिशिएंट नहीं है. पर्याप्तम बहुत लिमिटेड है, हम आराम से कर लेंगे. हाउ द्रोणा अंडरस्टूड इट? अरे द्रोणाचार्य, भीष्म बूढ़े हैं, वो अपना आर्मी को सफिशिएंटली मेंटेन नहीं कर पाए, इनसफिशिएंट है. तो आपकी रहना और आपकी संरक्षण करना बहुत जरूरी है. यू कांट बी लीनियंट नाउ, बिकॉज दूसरा साइड में भीमा है, इसका बहुत आर्मी को बहुत सज के अच्छा करके आया है सफिशिएंटली. तो ये कहना है. So it's very interesting. You see how Duryodhana, with one word, he is trying to address both Bhishma and that's how we come to today's session. What are the how after Duryodhana's diplomatic endeavors to encourage the Kauravas. What happened next is explained here. So somebody would like to recite after me from the 11th verse. We'll discuss around 10 verses from here. In this way, today we will talk till half an hour, okay? So who would like to do that? I'll go from first, okay? Akash Prabhu, you can unmute, and then like that we'll go one by one.
Okay.
Ayaneshu cha sarveshu.
Yes, coach. Ainesu cha sarvesu
Yata bhagam avastita.
yatha bhagama vasthita
Bhishmam eva virakshantu.
bhishmam eva bhirakshantu
Bhavanta sarva eva hi.
bhavanta sarva eva hi.
So till now he is encouraging Drona, and now encouraged Bhishma. Now other warriors may feel not neglected, like Karna, Vikarna, and there is Ashwadhama. They may feel young. Jayadratha, they may feel discouraged. Shakuni, all may feel discouraged. Therefore he tells, Anyeshcha sarveshu yatha bhagam avastitaha. He says, my dear warriors, you situate on your own positions, which I have planned. Because Bhishma is not able to plan everything. He's an old man. He can't plan all the things. When he gets into the war field, he will go in front, fighting and destroying the Pandavas army. And that time, he will not see his left side, he will not see his right side, he will not see his back side. And that time, you all need to be there to protect him. And this is my plan. See, Duryodhana, he may have many expert people with him, but he cannot trust everyone because that is his way. Sometimes it happens, somebody, you keep a team of devotees, but you don't trust them. You don't trust them. You always repeatedly question their capacities or doubt their capacities. Or you make a separate plan, which is not known to any of them. So Duryodhana had his own plan. He felt by my own plan only the war will happen, which Bhishma doesn't know. Bhishma is his own plan of going ahead. I will have my own plan. That's how teamwork will happen. So that's what we see here. So Bhishma eva virakshantu bhavantu sarva eva hi. So you all have to protect him. In this way, basically, he is giving also credit to Drona. You are important, you also protect Bhishma. In this way, his diplomacy is reached the peak. So Duryodhana was doing a material calculations. He is not aligning with the will of the Lord directly. Therefore, he is making his own mental calculations, strength of the people. He is calculating what is the like inka kya feeling hai, unka kya feeling hai. Like that he goes at. So yeah. So here you see very important points which we discussed. Pandavas turned weakness into strengths. Kauravas. Karna went on a countrywide military mission, subdued the different kingdoms and acquired wealth. Loss in terms of both men and money and creation of new enemies. So Karna almost wanted to express his strengths out. He had strengths, but what he did, in order to prove his strength in front of others, he had made many enemies. And in fighting, he had to lose a lot of wealth because fighting means army and their maintenance, everyday eating and everything. Somebody's health is somebody destroyed, then you have to do something with their maintenance, like that. Pandavas, though they were in exile, they turned their attention to improving. Arjuna set on a mission. We see he goes to even heavenly planets to learn the art of fighting or gaining celestial weapons from Lord Shiva. Arjuna was very expert in that. He turned his weakness to strength. Bhima, He met Hanuman, took blessing. We'll read those sections. It will come. Blessed with enhanced strength. Yudhishthira acquired teachings from the various rishis. Learned game of dice from the Gandharva Chitrasena. In this way, you see how they were, they were actually improving their skills. See, every time you have to perform. See, expertise when you want to gain victory, it's not that every time you have to perform. Sometimes you have to prepare. So when you give sufficient time in preparation now, performance happens. Success manifests. You don't got time to prepare. You want to experience success. You want to experience recognition always. And you find satisfaction in those success and recognition. Then your life will be like Kauravas, who, for the sake of recognition and things like Karna, what he did basically, he was making only enemies everywhere. Sometimes you have to set aside, and improve on your strengths. By sitting aside and improving on strength, you can gain a lot. Pandavas also more powerful allies. They made, like you see, Panchala through marriage Draupadi, and Dwaraka through marriage with Arjuna and Subhadra. Arjuna married Subhadra. With that, alliance has made become a Krishna dynasty. They came. Sahadeva and Vijaya, Magda dynasty, Chedi dynasty, Kashi Raja, Kekeya, Matsya, Rakshasa, Nagas. Like that, Bhima and Arjuna, everyone has made alliances. On the other hand, we see that how Kauravas were not very good at it. They had a centralized power system. But not many powerful allies they made. In fact, they had made enemies, even with the Gandharva Lokas, like that. So Pandavas had shared leadership. On the other hand, Kauravas had one head of army at a time. So in the Pandavas army, there were leadership was divided. At different days, different Senadipati was acting. So in this way, we see there is a shared leadership. On the other hand, Karna did not want to fight till Bhishma is alive. Like that, things happened on the side of Kauravas. And there is a team spirit in the Pandavas, but on the Kauravas side, the team spirit is very much missing. So in this way, we see that I'll stop this. I'll share the next verses. 12, 6 section. You're able to see?
Yes, Guruji.
So we see how Duryodhana had his diplomatic world. He believed on his own skills, and he felt army is meant for his own gratification. For the sake of establishing him, they are ready to lay down their lives. And his only motive was to finish the Pandavas. On the other hand, Yudhishthir's motive was quite different. So his motive was to cooperate. His motive was to please Lord Krishna. And he wanted to establish the Dharma. Like that, we have to see the motives with which the both kings are leading their armies. So nowadays, this is very much lacking. Yes, you can be a part. You can sacrifice your life for a team, for a nation, provided the leadership is in line with the Dharma. If the leadership is not in line with the Dharma, no matter how much you think of being patriotism, that won't work. Or whether it in any community or in a team, the leader has to be very rightly motivated. And in that way, what happens, even some people who come with their own selfish motivations, if they align with the main will of the Lord or main will of the leader who is in a way rightly motivated, that will create a very amazing, what you call, development in the future. But on the other hand, if the leader is ill motivated, selfishly oriented, no matter with what good intentions we want to be part of with him and assist him, one will be doomed in his endeavors. So that's what we see here, how Pandavas and Kauravas had a different aspect. I'm just skipping these things. I want to go to the verses. Next number. In this story, it explains the story of the Pandavas and Kauravas, how they choose. Kauravas, headed by Duryodhana, they chose expertise, they chose skills over character, they chose adharma over dharma, they chose material assets than spiritual values. They chose other powerful beings than Krishna. On the other hand, Arjuna, the Pandava, they chose Krishna over everything else. They chose Dharma over other things. So in this way, we see that drastic difference in their mentalities, in their visions. When vision is clear, when mentality is in line with that vision, then the team spirit is very powerful. Duryodhana was materially calculative, lacking understanding of Krishna's supremacy. Arjuna chose Lord owing to his love for him, whereas Duryodhana chose Narayana Sena. He wanted, when the option came, Krishna said, Duryodhana, you choose. You want me without weapons, or you want my army with full weapons? Duryodhana immediately chose army with full weapons. He wanted, because he felt, what this fellow, Krishna, without holding any weapon, how can he helpful? Krishna is holding only flute. What he will do? Sometimes, we see this type of mentality even in the mindset of devotees. अरे प्रभु जी कुछ कष्ट हो रहा है तो जाके थोड़ा दुर्गा को प्रार्थना कर, दुर्गा जी से, कि दुर्गा त्रिशूल रखती है, राक्षस को मारती है, शायद उनको पूजा करने से बहुत शक्ति मिलेगा, हमको भी राक्षसों से संरक्षण मिलेगा. अरे कृष्णा तो सिर्फ फ्लूट बजाएगा और हंसेगा, स्माइल करेगा अपना जो भी हुआ है डिवोटीज के साथ. So this type of thought may come in the mind of a devotee. But understand whether you want to be like Pandavas or you want to be like Kauravas. Because when Krishna is there, everyone is there with him. And today's session is about that, the signs of victory. We see the Pandavas, the Kauravas were focusing on expertise, skills, and material calculated strength. On the other hand, Pandavas had something very unique. What is the something which is very unique on the Pandavas side? That we will see in the upcoming verses. These are the signs of victory on the Pandavas side. There are total 4 victories, signs of victory. These are the 4 things which are there on the side of Pandavas. Sorry, I think signs of victory, 9 points, total 9 points. Yeah. Krishna's personal presence and Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, the Kurukshetra, the holy place, Kapidwaja, the Hanuman on the Lord, on the Arjuna's chariot, the conch shell, Shankar, symbol of Vishnu, that is there, transcendental Divya Shankar, that is there. 7th one, Bhishma's conch shell to pacify Duryodhana. Bhishma, when he blowed the conch shell, actually he wanted to confirm that your defeat is compulsory. Hone wale hai. But to encourage you, I am blowing the conch shell. Agnideva chariot, which is gifted to Arjuna, on which actually Krishna is riding the chariot. And the hearts of the Kauravas were shattered. So we see these signs we'll be discussing in the next coming 12 to 24 verse, I suppose. No? 12 to 24, like that is 12 to 20, no, 22. Okay. Please, next participant, Amritendu Prabhu. Yeah. Please unmute and repeat after me. Tasya sajanyam harsham Hare Krishna. Amarijendu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Tasya sanjanyam harsham
Tasta sanjanam harsam
guru vriddha pitamaha
Guru Vidha Pitamaha
simhanadam vinodhyochay
Singhanadam Vinadache
shankam tadvam pratapavan.
Shankham Tadhau Patapavana.
Tasya sanjam harsham. So basically Harsha, Bhishma is actually joking. अरे दुर्योधन इतना कुछ कह रहे हैं तुम, हाँ? कि मेरा संरक्षण में सब कुछ चल रहा है, मेरा संरक्षण के हिसाब से पांडवों को ऐसा ही मारेंगे, बट समझ लो उस तरफ भगवान कृष्ण है। तो वृद्ध पितामह, वृद्ध मीन्स मेच्योर्ड, इज ए मेच्योर्ड ग्रैंडफादर, he knows what actually reality is, therefore he is smiling harsham. Simhanadam vinodhyochay, but to encourage Duryodhan, who actually appreciated him, Duryodhan actually appreciated Bhishma, but to encourage Duryodhan, yes, don't worry, I am fully with you. See, Bhishma did not have to speak any word. He just had to blow conch shell. With that, he gave full confidence to Duryodhan, and I am with you. I am ready to lay down my life. Therefore, what he does, he blows the conch shell. Conch shell is a symbol of Vishnu. Shankha. Shankha is Vishnu's symbol. So by Bhishma blowing the conch shell, he basically he gave an indication to the whole world that Duryodhana is going to get defeated ultimately, because he is not siding Vishnu. And by blowing that conch shell, he is actually telling that victory is only with those who are with Vishnu. This is the first sign of victory on the side of Pandavas. But however, this particular verse gave encouragement to Duryodhana by wording that. Then afterwards, all others started blowing their conch shells, bugles, etc. So verse number 30. Yeah. Somebody can, who is the next devotee? Yeah, Atul Prabhu. Tata sankascha breyascha
ततः शङ्काश्च भ्रेयश्च
panavanaka gomukha
पनवानकगोमुख
सहस्रैवाभ्ययन्त
सहसैवाभयान्यन्त
सा शब्दस्तु bhavat.
सा शब्दस्तुमुलो भवत्.
Yeah. After that, the conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. Shashabdas tumulo abhavat. Tumulo, no? The tumultuous word came from word is tumulo. Tumulo is a Sanskrit word. From that word came tumultuous. Tumultuous means very, very much like encouraging. Just like when sometimes happens, somebody comes like on the 26th January parade, sounds vibrate when a president is coming or when a particular procession is happening. Tumultuous, tumulo bhavat, sabdhascha tumulo bhavat. It created a tumultuous sound. As soon as the first indication was done by Bhishma, blowing his conch shell, so all the Kaurava army, they blowed their drums, conch shells and everything. And then, so then the next number is 14. And then now Krishna's entry. This is the first entry in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna's entering into Bhagavad Gita. Till now, Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya are speaking. And what Duryodhana was speaking. All those interactions happened. And Bhishma. And now, after this, you see, this is how the grand entry of Krishna is happening. Everyone blow their conch shells, drums, trumpets. And then now Krishna is entering. And see the introduction of Krishna. Amazing. This is a very amazing verse. Who would like to recite? After Atul Prabhu, Chitra, please recite. You are there? Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
Tata Sveter Yukte
Tata Shreterhayukte
Mahati Shandhane Stitau
Mahisandane to.
Madhava
That voice is not.
Pandavaschaiva Madhava
Madhava Pandavas
Chaiva
Madhava Pandavaschaiva
Divyo Shankau Pradam Datau.
Divyo Shankho Pradhamatu.
So here, very amazing. Tata Svete Rahaya Yukte Mahati Shandane Stitau Madhava Pandavaschaiva Divya Shankau Pradamatu. Here the word Madhava, that's how the Krishnas entered into Bhagavad Gita. Madhava means the husband of goddess of fortune. Goddess of fortune, who is that? Lakshmi. And Lakshmi Pati Madhava. See, fortune. Fortune will be there, not the place where Lakshmi is there. The place where the Madhava, the husband of goddess of fortune, is there. Krishna or Vishnu. Moment Krishna or Vishnu is there, naturally Lakshmi is there. But people here in this world are running after Lakshmi. They're giving up Madhava. They want only money. They don't want Madhava. And here Madhava, Pandava. Pandavas were on the Dharma side. So along with embracing Krishna in our life, we should embrace the dharmic, religious principles. Religious, dharmic principles very strongly. And you see, this is the third sign of victory. They have Madhava, husband of fortune. Pandavas had Madhava, therefore they are going to ensure a great fortune after the war. And what conscience they were blowing? Divya Shankau. You see here, earlier in the Kauravas section, it's only speak about Shankam. But here it is speak about Divya Shanka, transcendental conscience. Lord blew. So here especially they spoke about the Divya Shanka, blowing of transcendental conscience. And now each of their conscience is being spoken in the next two verses. Very, very important. What Krishna, what Arjuna, Yudhishthira, Nakula, Sahadev, everyone blow their conscience. They are transcendental. And they are tumultuous also. This is another sign of victory. Okay. Yes. Who would like to read? After Aruna Prabhu, you have not spoken. Aruna. Aruna, you are there? No, Aruna. Aruna is there here. Can you mute?
Yes, bro. That's me only, bro. Bro, I'm just.
Okay,
I just
Aruna,
came
you
from
are
office.
also.
Yeah, I just came from office. I just joined right now. So
Yeah.
in the,
Please repeat
so I wanted to join early, so
after.
that's why I gave them.
Please repeat this verse after. Okay. Panchajanyam Rishi Kesho
Panchajanyam Rishikesho
Devadattam Dhananjaya
Devadattam Dhananjaya
Pundaram Dadmau Mahashankam
Pandram Dadmau Mahashankham
Bhima Karma Vrikodaraha.
Bhima Karma Vrikodara.
These are the other signs of victory. See, Kauravas army side, they don't have any victory signs. And they have no special characteristics. But on the Pandavas side, they have a special characteristics, Maharati, Athirati, Vrikodhara, like that you see, Bhima Karma Vrikodhara, Devadatta, Arjuna Dhananjaya, and Lord Krishna Rishikesha. So in this way, you see the special names have been titled and their conscience, Divya Shanka, and each of them have a specific name. Like you have your own mobile, na? You have a specific mobile, smart mobile which you use. Like that, during that time, the warriors had their own specific conch shells. That is their own, their identity. So Panchajanya. So Lord Krishna's conch shell name is called as Panchajanya. And he's called Rishikesha. Krishna is addressed here not as Krishna, but Rishikesha. Rishikesha means the master of the senses. That means is another sign of victory. Madhava is one sign of victory, but here Rishikesha means Lord of senses. That means this Lord can make the senses of the Pandavas and all the warriors on the Pandava side powerful for fighting for the Dharma. See, when you cite Dharma, when you are on the side of Dharma, you live your life based on regulative principles, religious principles. You see your senses become very powerful. And that credit goes to Rishikesha, the Lord Rishikesha Krishna, because he is the master of all our senses. He can guide our senses. He can control the senses and he can also expertly use the senses in the service of him. That's how the Krishna has this particular ability. He can make everyone's senses on the Pandavas army side powerful so that they can win the war field, win over the battlefield. And Dhananjaya means Arjuna was called Dhananjaya. You know, when during Rajasuya Yagna, when Yudhishthir Maharaj needed a lot of wealth, it was Arjuna who went around all the directions and he conquered over the kingdoms and collected taxes from them. He did not looted like Karna what he did. He did not looted. Arjuna went over like Karna. But Karna made enemies, but Arjuna commanded the kings to follow and give the taxes. That's how Arjuna name got Dhananjaya, because he conquered in all directions and gained wealth. He brought back wealth for Rajasuya Yagna to be performed. And therefore, he is capable. And his Shankha name is Devadatta. And there is Poundram Dadmo Mahashankam. Bhima's conch shell is speaken. Poundram. The name of the conch shell which Bhima flowed is Poundra, which is called Mahashankha. It's a very big size also. Just like Bhima is a big size. And Bhima is a Karma Vrikodhara. He is a very expert, voracious eater at the same time, but expert performer. No. So we see how he fights in the warfield and that all these aspects we see there. No? And the other signs are explained here, 16th to 18th. So I think there's somebody else. Who is it? After Chitra. Haridhi. Are you here? Hare Krishna.
Ji, Hare Krishna.
Please repeat after me. Ananta Vijayam Raja.
Ananta Vijayam Raja.
Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha.
Kunti Putro Yudhishthira.
Nakula Sahadevasya.
Nakula Sahadevascha.
Sugosho Mani Pushpakau.
Sugosho Mani Pushpakau.
Yeah. Ananta Vijaya Raja. Raja means who? That Raja who performed Rajasuya Yagna. Who is that? Yudhishthir Maharaj. You see in this picture, Yudhishthir Maharaj. He is a Raja because he performed Rajasuya Yagna. And his conch shell name is Ananta Vijaya. Always gains victory. You see, this is another sign of success on the Pandavas side. Kunti Putro Yudhishthira. See, is a Kunti Putra. And Kunti is the mommy or chachi of Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is assuring the protection of the sons of Kunti. Nakula Sahadeva. These are the other two brothers of Pandavas. They are holding the two conch shells, Sugosha and Manipushpaka. These are the names of the conch shells. Yes. Next verse. Who will read?
I will read, Prabhuji.
Okay, ठीक है. You can read. Kashyasya Parameshvasha.
काश्यश्च परमेश्वासः
शिखण्डी च महारथ
शिखण्डी च महारथः
दृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च
दृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च
सात्यकी चापि राजिता
सात्यकी चारपि राजितः.
So all other warriors, they did not blow their conch shells, but they expressed their enthusiasm to fight. Kashi, Kashya matlab the Kashi Raj, the king of Kashi. Okay. What is that? Parameshwara, he is very expert, controller in performing the fight with bow and arrows. Shikandi, Shikandi is the first son of Drupada. The first son of Drupada, Shikandi. Shikandi cha Maharatha. He is also Maharatha. Okay. Drishtadumna is the son of Drupada, you know that. And Virata Raja or Virata and Shatyaki Chapi Rajita. Shatyaki was there. They all were enthusiastic. Next verse. Drupado Draupadeyasya
द्रुपदो द्रौपदेयश्च
Sarvasha Prithivipate
सर्वशः पृथ्वीपते
Saubhadrasya Mahabahu
सौभद्रश्च
Shankam Tatmo Pritak Pritak Yeah. Drupado
शङ्खादं प्रभु
Pritak Pritak. I think your network is slow, maybe, or my network is not working properly, whatever. So Drupada Draupadi, Drupada means Raja Drupad, he is himself there, and Draupadi, Draupadeyasya matlab the sons of Draupadi, the 5 sons. Sarvashaha Prithvi Pate, they all are like different warriors, what do you call warriors, kings, the rulers. They have come to command, they have come to rule, they have come to protect. Saubhadrasya, Saubhadri matlab, that is Abhimanyu, the son of Subhadra. And they are Mahabahu. You can see in the war field, and I think either on that 9th day or the 10th day, this happens. Abhimanyu fought voraciously, alone fighting against 6 Maharathis. Can you imagine? He was a 16-year-old boy. 16-year-old boy fighting against 6 Maharathis. And they had to deploy illegal means to kill him because they could not confront him and fight him directly. They had to indirectly stab him from behind. Then they had to do it because he's very powerful. So Saubhadrasya Mahabahu and Shankam Dadmong Pritak Pritak, they blowed their conch shells. Without their names were not mentioned. They blowed their conch shells one after another. And why? After by these statements, basically, these are all signs of victory. These are all expert devotees with special characters, and all are in line with Krishna and Dharma. By siding Yudhishthira, you are actually siding Dharma. By the siding Duryodhana, you are actually siding Adharma. Like that. So, in this way, we see everyone wrote their specific conscience is explained. And then this verse will take 19th verse. So who will read? Actually, I don't have your power here. It may go after some time. We'll take this last verse. Punit. Punit, Hare Krishna. You are there? Hare Krishna. Punit. Okay, it's not going. Rajiv Prabhu.
Yes, bro.
Saghoshodrat Rashtraanam
Saghosho Dhartarashtanam
Hridayani Vyadharayat
Hridayani Vyadaratayat
नाभश्च पृथ्वीं चैव
नाभाश्च पृथ्वीं चैव
तुमुलोऽभ्यानुधायन्.
तुमुलोऽभ्यानुनादयन्.
Yeah. Again, tumulo came, tumulo, tumultuous. Hridayani vyadharat. See, on the Kaurava side, when they blowed their conch shells, there was no word like Hridayani vyadharat. They just blowed their conch shells and drums and kettle and everything horns, and it got tumultuous. But here, when everyone blowed their conch shells, drums on Pandava's side, that was tumultuous and at the same time was shattering the hearts. Hridayani vyadharat. Is another sign of victory on the Pandavas side. Till now we discussed certain from till 19th verse we have discussed certain signs of victory. That is, first one is Madhava. Krishna is the husband of goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. Therefore, the fortune is on the Pandavas side. And second thing we see is that that how every person who's on the war field, on the Pandava side, they had transcendental conch shells, Divya Shankha. And these Shankas are transcendental because of their presence in the hand of those people who are transcendentalists. It's not just about conch shell, it's the person who is holding that conch shell that makes it glorious. And then the third sign we saw is that how Rishikesha, Lord is that as Rishikesh, the master of senses. Senses means he's expert in strengthening the senses of the Pandavas and others who are siding the Pandavas in order to gain victory. And then we see the fourth sign that all other warriors on the Pandavas side, they had expert certain service which they did. Like Bhima Karma Vrikodhara, Kunti Putra Yudhishthira, and Arjuna. And Arjuna, we see Arjuna is called a Dhananjaya, who is expert in gaining the wealth for the purpose of performing the Rajasuya Yagna. And in this way, these things are. And now Arjuna, ready to fight, looked at the Kuru army, spoke to Lord Krishna. So here becomes very important, another sign of victory. I will explain this and conclude today's session. Okay. So who would like to recite?
Prabhu,
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Puneet Prabhu, please. 20 number verse. Atha vyavasthitan drishtva
Athatvavinstava
Ratarashtranam kapidvaja
Dhatarashtra Kadapidaja
Pravritte Shastra Sampate
Pravritte Sastra Sampate
Dhanur Udyamya Pandava
Dhanuruddhamya Pandava
Ikesham Tada Vakyam
Rishikesha Tada Vakyam
Idam Aha Mahipate.
Udam Mahamahipate.
Atha Vyavasthita Drishtva. Observing all these things, Dhatarashtra Kapidvajaha. The Krishna and Arjuna who are sitting on a chariot. Okay? This is another sign of victory. The chariot which they are sitting, driven by 4 white horses. Okay, it's not 5, 4 white horses. This was gifted by Agni Dev. This is another sign of victory. Agni Dev personally gifted this chariot to Arjuna to fight on the battlefield. And then on the top of this chariot, Kapidvajaha, Lord Hanuman is personally sitting. So this is another sign of victory. And Hanuman, as yesterday was a very special occasion of Ramanavami.
I think Prabhuji dropped, so let us wait for another 5 minutes. I don't think he will be able to rejoin. He said mentioned that he was having power issues. So let us wait for 5 or 6 minutes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare,
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah. I got disconnected because my charger got this thing. Anyway, I will just conclude on this particular. I thought everyone is so fine. So basically, Kapidwaja, the word Kapidwaja is being spoken here in relation. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, one of our acharyas, gives 3 stories. Okay. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So he speaks about 3 stories in his commentary. So there he mentions the first is once Arjuna. Yeah, Arjuna went to Rameshwaram because he is Dhananjay, na? So he was going around all the places and he was trying to observe where to find wealth, okay? And conquering the kings. Like that, he went to Rameshwaram in the south. So when Arjuna went there, he saw, he came to know that where the Ram Setu was there. Ram Setu, all of them. The famous bridge which Lord Ram has made in honor of protecting dharma or fighting for the dharma. That. So he went there and then he mentioned there was one monkey, small monkey was lying there in the Ram Setu. And then Arjuna asked that monkey, he said, what is the need for Lord Ram to make a bridge? And for making a bridge, he can use his own arrow and the Dhanush and arrow. His Ramabana is very expert. It can do anything. Why he had to take the help of ordinary monkeys in order to make that bridge? But that monkey said, "Arey, yeah, this is true what you are mentioning. This is true. But however, you have to understand that Lord Ram is very magnanimous. He gives an opportunity for his devotees to be part of the mission. And because the monkeys made it, the bridge is could never be collapsed. Many tried to collapse it, but it's not possible to collapse that. And Arjuna became a little hurted because he is a he's a good archer. He said, okay, I will challenge you. I will make a pool across this Rameshwaram to Lanka with my arrows. And you break it, we'll see how powerful you are. And the monkey says, yes, if I break it, then you have to become my servant. You have to accept and commit suicide. It tells to Arjuna. And Arjuna said that, yes, if I become successful, you have to assist me. You have to assist me. And then Arjuna repeatedly made the bridge with the arrows, and repeatedly the monkey was breaking it. And Arjuna had no option. He was he was about to go and commit suicide. And that time immediately one Brahmana appears there. And that Brahmana mentions to Arjuna and to the monkey. He said, come on, when there is a bet between two people, there should be a third person who will evaluate which is right and which is wrong. So I will evaluate who is right and who is wrong, who has won and who has who failed or who lost it. So then again, Arjuna makes the pool with his arrows, and now the monkey, how much he tries to break that pool, it cannot do it. It cannot do it. And then the monkey realizes that Brahmana is none other than Lord Ram himself. Recognizes, he sees it. Then immediately the monkey comes to the original form as Hanuman, Lord Hanuman. And then Arjuna sees that Brahmana as Krishna. Hanuman is saying that what do you call that Brahmana as a Lord Ram, but Arjuna is seeing as Krishna. So there's no difference between Ram and Krishna. Both are same, similar. It depends on the eyes of the devotee, how he observes it, how he observes the Lord. So then the Krishna tells to Hanuman, as you promised, you should help Arjuna during his crisis. When he is in the war field, you have to be on the above and help him. This is one story. Another story which Baladev Vidyabhushan explains. It's a very interesting story. I'll conclude with that. In that story, we see that how Arjuna, Bhima, one time they were in the exile, in the forest exile. 1,000 petal lotus came falling from the Himalayas, from the Mandakini Ganga. From the Mandakini, it came flowing. And when Draupadi observed it, she felt very much attracted to that flower. And she requested Bhima to go and fetch more flowers so that we can make a garland offer to Yudhishthira, Raja Yudhishthira. So Bhima takes his club and starts climbing that mountain and goes to the top. And actually that place is inhabited. An ordinary mortal cannot climb that. But Bhima is a voracious, is given a task, he will not set back again. So he started climbing. And on the way, whatever animals came, he started holding them and throwing on side. Elephants came, he holded their tails and squirreled and thrown on the other side. Lions came, holded their necks and squeezed and thrown on the other side. Like that, he started ferociously roaring and going ahead. And any trees came, he uprooted the trees and threw on the other side. Like that, he created disturbance on that. And suddenly on his path, he observed a big monkey lying. And out of respect for that monkey, that Bhima said, hey, get lost from my way. I had to go. And then monkey said, Hare, come on. Why are you creating so much havoc? And disturbing all the peaceful animals in this forest. You cannot do that. He said, no, I don't want to hear anymore. I have important service. I want to get flowers from there and garland my brother. He said, okay, I am very weak. I can't move. You move me aside and go ahead. He said, Are, how dare you give me service? So Bhima starts challenging or countering that monkey. The monkey said, okay, you cannot move me. At least move my tail and take a way, make a way and go ahead. No matter how much Bhima tries, he cannot even move an inch of the tail of that monkey. It's all his pride in expressing his power got down, and he realized that that monkey is not ordinary monkey, is Hanuman himself, his own brother, Vayuputra. Bhima and Arjuna, sorry, Bhima and Hanuman are Vayuputras. Both had their origin is same. So immediately Hanuman embraced Bhima, and Bhima asked forgiveness. And then Arjuna, Hanuman says that I will be there helping all of you because you are standing for Dharma and fighting for Dharma. I will be there on the top of the chariot of your brother while fighting. And not only that, whenever you roar on the war field, in that roar, my own roar also will join, will accompany, it will get synchronized in it. And that roar will shatter the hearts of the people around, opponents, right? And they will die by hearing the roar only. Like that, Bhima was given assurance by Lord Hanuman. So in these two stories, we see that how the Kapi Dwaja, the Hanuman fulfilled that particular commitment which is given to Arjuna and Bhima. So in this way, you see, when you side dharma, na, people will be with. All expected things will happen. Your senses will become strong. You will attain success. But only thing, you should be willing to always consistently remain in the path of religious principles, irrespective of the challenges and crises which you may go through. So with this, we'll conclude today's session, and thank you for all of your patience hearing. And please come prepared for the next sessions so that the understanding and what we're discussing will be more relevant. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Bhakti.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I have
Thank you,
one
Prabhuji.
question.
Yeah, please.
How we have to maintain ourselves every time in higher consciousness, in higher state of consciousness?
So we have to maintain higher consciousness, and higher consciousness is possible when we remain in touch with three things. When we keep our touch with Krishna, the God, we keep touch with devotees, and we keep touch with uh, uh, the Lord, the devotees, and devotional service. In this way, it's possible to keep our consciousness high. And in that way, you are actually aligning with the principles of Dharma. भगवान के साथ, भक्त के साथ और भक्ति में रह के हम अपना चेतना को ऊंचा रख सकते हैं. So, अब चेतना ऊंचा रहेंगे ना, naturally you will think high. When you think high, na, you will do things which are in line with Dharma. That's how you can regulate your life. Is it answers your question
Thank you.
or your comment? I think you're only commenting. Very nice comment you made. Correct. Okay.
Thank you, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Jai Gaur Prabhupada.
Hari Hari Bol.